and welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host and NWL Commissioner, Alex G. And along with me, as always, is IWAR Commissioner, Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
I'm dandy.
How dandy are you?
Oh, I'm super dandy.
Are you El Dandy, perhaps?
El Dando. Yes. Oh, it's the not enough sleep edition.
Nice. So this is another very special episode. We're going to do a June cycle in review.
It's very special. The Fresh Prince gets shot.
And we are going to start with the BRL.
Oh. Look my stack here.
Now, in terms of the champions for this cycle, in terms of league, we have Mirrors. TV, we have the Enforcer, Eric Davis. Atlantic, we have Big Bad Red Fox. Central, we have Classy Eddie DeGrassi. Dixie, we have Ghostly Shadows. Eastern, we have Randy the Ram. Mountain, we have the Saskatchewan, Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Northern, we have the Lord of Illusion. Pacific, we have Willie, the Wild Woodsman. Prairie, we have Elijah, the Mountain Man. Southern, we have Kim Ye's Sun Saints. Western, we have the Extreme Icon, Hannibal. Tag teams, we have numbers 1 and 3. TV tag, Product of Arrogance, 1 and 2. Six-man, we have Elliot Bonebreak, General Bob Rockbone, and Jerry. And the TV six-mans are number 1, 3, and 6. So, Matt, I know this has been a controversial filled cycle for the BRL. Want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, so if you're sitting at home like I was going, well, I have my BRL 481 here, bulletin, and I noticed that the Mountain Champion says El Barbaro. Why isn't he champion? Well, here's where the game has some glitches sometimes. So the background on this is the DOD, which is Disciples of Doom, led by Ghostly Shadows. The Saskatchewan Sasquatch is a member, as is El Barbaro, and Willie the Woodsman and Elijah the Mountain Man. The Big Bad Red Fox, and some others. Now, they're bad guys, and there was a feud brewing where a Saskatchewan Sasquatch from the old days, from the 90s of the IWAR, was coming in to feud with him. So one little problem. When the player who runs the old school Sasquatch sent his strategy in, he just put Saskatchewan Sasquatch. Apparently, when they were entering the information, there wasn't a realization that this was a new Sasquatch and not the current Sasquatch. So instead of his record reflecting a 499 strategy, he had a 491. That shifted things. So El Barbaro got a title instead of him. So I kind of was mediator for this. I was going back and forth. And the way I'm explaining it is sort of this. By point totals, the Extreme Icon Hannibal, I think he had a 497. So in theory, you say, well, wait a minute. If he has a 497, he's the Western champion. Why isn't Barbaro or Sasquatch one of those belts? Well, the hook is depends who you challenge. If you challenged every single regional champion with your wrestlers, let's say there's 3 wrestlers, that's 30 matches right there. That's a lot of matches. So a lot of people, you split your matches up. Like you have a couple fight this guy, that guy, whatever. So he could only win titles that he actually competed for. In which case, if you have El Barbaro, who is a 498, and Sasquatch, who is a 499, you see where there's a little challenge there.
Right.
An important thing is when you send your strategies, it's important to know that what your strategies are. It's one of the reasons why I think it's actually more important to email them in, because then you have an email record what you send to the IWA of what your strategy is, and kind of can say, oh, hey, this is what it should have been. I remember a couple of years ago, Senor Lucha in the BRL should have been the TV champion. He had a 501 or a 500, and there was a glitch, and somehow they didn't get his holds right. So, that away fixed it. So the online edition had the correct champions. The paper edition, which obviously is, cycles run, printed, and shipped, was out of date, if you will. So it's important to actually look at the website. Now, when you challenge the regional champions, one way to avoid confusion is just put Dick's champion, Eastern champion, Pacific champion. And I guess however their engine works, they'll just put you against those champions. You can also do what I also do, which is I just put the ID number of the wrestler. But again, there can be problems there. So there's different ways of going about it. But essentially, just make sure when you send in your matches, you're setting it in for your wrestler and not someone else's. Because could there be nefarious things behind there? Well, probably. But I think we've all got better things to do than do that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'll show them. You're not going to cheat me out of my 493.
Like stuff that happens, it happens from time to time. I know it happened to me in the IWL when they got my strategies wrong, and I was able to email it to them, and they fixed the problem. And then Luther got whatever championship he missed out on. Something that happens to me quite often is they often forget to put me in the Battle Royal, which cost me in the King of Kings in the IWL because they didn't put me in there, but. I use big like bold, like please make sure all my wrestlers that get entered in the Battle Royal because I do enter all my wrestlers in their respective leagues Battle Royal.
Right. BRL trash talk wise, there was lots of doings, namely a artistic spree by Catfish Rob, which included pictures of Mad Dog Dick Jackson as an actual puppy, Jane the Vixen Red in various formats. I think she looks like Jane from the Jetsons, maybe. That's what he's going for.
It's very possible.
And then there was, of course, Luther Alexander on the toilet. Oh, and the Challenger brothers as frogs. I think they're frogs. Aliens. I don't know.
They have to be some sort of aliens or... No, they're devils, apparently.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's always something with these guys.
Sir Gunter was the frog this cycle. Wearing the belt, by the way, too, which is awesome.
Oh. So, trash talk-wise, some doings going on. Luther had a altercation that spilled over from the IWL.
Yeah, man, that's pretty serious business.
Yeah, rude duty.
He's upset.
And I think probably the biggest news of the cycle would be the reveal of who attacked Jimmy North. Now, if you've been reading the BRL, playing the BRL for the last year, you know that Jimmy North was the super popular NWL rookie who came into the BRL and was well on his way, moving up the ladder and very popular. Went out of the darkness. Someone struck him down. We built a mystery around it. Lumberjack Zach James was on the hunt to find out who took out his best friend.
My money was on Chief Wahoo McStereotype, but that wasn't the case, though.
Well, it was him or his Chief Wahoo Casino Firewater. Oh, Chief Casino Firewater. Also,
we only get in trouble with these names, I think.
Of course. I like Wahoo McStereotype. I don't care who you are. So, anyways, Zach James goes looking. So we built a running gag into it, if you will, or a contest where people could challenge to say if they could identify the attacker. And finally, Zach James came back. We had clues in the bulletins, and came on the show to the Hot Takes show run by Hot Stuff Adam Cash and Fatty the Butcher. They're kind of Blood Money, the popular tag team, to expose who the attacker was. And one of the major clues was that there was a piece of a fork in Jimmy's forehead. And of course, we all know Fatty the Butcher as the fork-wielding madman and lovable dancer and fan of big butts. So he, of course, came on the show to challenge Fatty and say, hey, what did you do? And then Adam Cash stepped in and said, whoa, he couldn't have attacked him because I did. And then he super kicked Zach James and turned on him, revealed that him and Fatty took out Jimmy North because he was just a spotlight-stealing rookie punk. And there'll be more to come this coming issue. Of course, the shock was also there when they walked out with their new six-man partner, Luther Alexander. So
the guy who's always stirring the pot, and
yeah,
when there's trouble afoot, he's probably somewhere pretty close to it. So
yeah, he's the sock. So it was a fun one. It was funny because people emailed me like, "Oh, that was fun." Like one of the guys, I think the best one I got was he said he felt like 9-year-old him again watching the Brockers break up. And I was like, that's kind of cool. and kind of go behind the scenes, artistically speaking, if you will, or as a writer in the game, Becky, who runs Jimmy North, had to leave the game for a while, and we wanted to give her a way to kind of leave the game or be written off TV, if you will, and then have a chance to come back and make it kind of fun. And she was fine with it, And then it was funny was I actually went to a couple of people and said, "Are you interested in being the person that took them out?" And they were like, "Oh, maybe, I don't know. I got things going on." So I always had kind of a heel turn in the back pocket for blood money. One of the things about being a good guy is that you need good bad guys to work with. And what happens sometimes when you're kind of a good guy that's kind of like going like, "Yeah, team," no one really comes after you. You kind of have to have a reason for them to punch in the face. This feud should be fun because I think it will give some fun writing. I think I always enjoy when I have a mission to my writing, not just writing for the sake of writing. Which I can tell you, like with Superstar Rick Ryan, the BRL, totally mental block. So I just have him doing crazy stuff because I'm like, whatever. Dick Jackson, total mental block. I'm actually, just not sure what to do with him. But I think when players kind of get involved and start taking things in new directions, that's when it gets really fun for me. So if you're listening, you're saying, I want to be in a fun feud. One of the things you can do is just pick someone that's active and TTs a lot, trash talks a lot, and talk them up, either form a partnership or go after them for a feud.
Yeah, agreed.
And then if you have a partnership and you want to bust it up, you have an automatic feud right there.
It doesn't have to be that long. You don't have to team with them for like 3 years and do a turn. It could be over a course of 6 or 7 cycles.
Sure. Yeah. So, anyways, BRL wise, there's some good momentum coming out. We have this coming issue is going to be the matches for the Imagine Bash pay-per-view.
Very nice. Which
is the BRL Summer kind of spectacular. There's a number of big bouts in there, but if you want to be involved in it, one thing we always say is like, kind of trash talk. Like we had a bunch of players that wanted to have a Canadian Championship match, so we have basically, sanctioned the Canadian Championship. We're going to make it a title you fight for. So that's kind of the BRL. I mean, who was the Battle Royal winner? Oh, was it Mirrors? No, Lord of Illusions won the Battle Royal.
Nice.
Which I would count how many people were in the Battle Royal. I'm guessing about 50. Yeah, the Battle Royal League is a good deal. 2 for 1. So that's the BRL.
All right. On to the CWL. In terms of champions, we had the Unified was Victor Von Schnapp. Streaming media was Clark Pierpont. United States, Barry USA Stevens. USA. Yukon, Doug Gavilon. Caribbean, Craven. Amazon Basin, Black Predator. The controversial Black Predator.
Yes.
British Isles, Baron von Ruxpin. Arabian, Hurley Race. South African, Great White Dragon. Siberian, Alec von Schnapp.
His first title, well, first real title. Say.
East Asian, Forgotten Vagrant. Oceanic, Darius T. Rushad. Unified Tag Team, Black Predator and Silverback Jack.
3rd cycle in a row.
Unreal. Streaming Media Tag Team, Milton Schnozbuster and Pokey McSnail. Unified 6-man, you have the Von Schnapps.
Yeah!
And Streaming Media 6-man, Forgotten Vagrant, Wildcard, Garrett Shadowstar, and the Tyrants, David Hammerhead. So what's going on currently in the CWL?
Well, a whole hell of a lot. And one thing I will say, Victor Von Schnapp took I believe his 6th championship in CWL. I think 6th or 7th. I got to look into it. I think it's the 6th. Kind of a surprise. But here's one of those things, what I do every cycle to give you an idea for my strategies. I assess what I think will be the #1 most likely drop. So, for instance, if it's 27-26, that's my A. If I think 27 or 28-27 is my B, and 29-28 is my C. Depending how other feds do, how iron does, how steel does, and what gold did last cycle. So Victor Von Schnapp had my A strategy of he had both 25s dropped off his strat. The back end. The last 5 holds, not so much. I think he had a 498. So he didn't do too badly, but, enough to win. Clark Pierpont has a lot going on his plate. So kind of as a whole, what's going on in the league, to give you kind of an idea, Victor has a ongoing feud, the Von Schnapp family, with John Body and Black Wrestlers Matter. John Body basically took out Alec Von Schnapp. Now Victor wants revenge. Meanwhile, Victor has just recently kind of turned good after being bad for about a year. And his feud with Ethereal Guardians kind of coming to a head where it's now more a match of respect. And the big news in the CWL this episode, if you will, was at the end of the broadcast of Dynamite when Ethereal Guardian came out and announced that his match against Victor Von Schnapp at Wrestle Frenzy would be his retirement match. And that he will put his IWAR title shot on the line against Victor, win, lose, or draw. That's his last match.
Nice.
And behind the scenes, David, who writes Ethereal Guardian, he also writes Forgotten Vagrant, Garrett Shadowstar, David Hammerhead. He's kind of done everything you can do with the character. And I think in the game, when you have a kind of character kind of grow out of nowhere, you have certain goals for them. I think he's done a lot with his character. He won the Johnny B. Cup. He's been an IWAR champion 3 times, so he's kind of done it all. But I think creatively you hit a certain wall at a certain point. So that's where he's going with him. So the big retirement match. I don't know if he's going to pull the Roddy Piper and shave Adrian Adonis' head bald, but...
He just might.
Yeah. Clark Pierpont took another streaming media championship. He seems to always have that title.
Yep.
He has a couple of things going on. Senior Lucha went to him for help. He has feuds. Mike Mason and him are kind of an uneasy alliance.
Yeah, Papa Joe, who made an appearance.
Yes, Papa Joe. Papa Joe. I will say one of my favorite things in CWL is reading Clark Pierpont's trash talk, because I just love the ridiculous 20s and 30s gobbledygook speak that he throws out there. Just fantastic. I love it. Doug Gavilon, fun fact. One of the first insults the Teamster ever used was to make fun of Doug Gavilon by calling him a lost transformer.
I remember that.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of NWL guys represented in this league.
Yeah. The problem child in here now.
Right. The Dragons.
Yeah.
Forgotten Vagrant. You have Shadowstar, Hammerhead, who, when we had a tag tournament the first year, Hammerhead and Shadowstar won it.
And guys, don't ever go on Google and look up White Dragon, because you don't want to know what that is.
Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Here's our PSA. Of course, we did an an episode of the Tubecast directed to the controversial cover of the Black Wrestlers Matter, who are also the IWAR World Tag Team Champions. And fun fact, Milton Schnozzbuster and Pokey McSnail, I ran into them back in the Mayhem League, I believe it was. I'm pretty sure it was the MML, and they were there for quite a while. And they reminded me a lot of the Suburban Hell Savages in the BRL, Agent 26 and Punk Rock Mike, in that their trash talk was about a page or so long, very comical, good flow, well-written. So curious to see who runs them, how they do. I think I knew who they were run by at one time. It escapes me now. But glad to see them, because legally CWL, we need good trash talkers. It helps to have those in there.
Agreed.
I think Fleetwood Statler is the Capital Champion. Barry Stevens is still the Continental Champion. And, of course, Black Predator and Silverback Jack are the 10 champions. And the 6-man champion, Von Schnaps, we're building towards, feuds and all, so I was surprised at the 6-man, but I'll be happy with it. So, any CWL news on your end as far as things going on with your crew?
Well, Mike Mason was successful in his debut. Alexander has now vanished from the CWL. I wonder where he's going to end up. Well, I got a couple ideas for that, but he's officially gone. So this actually will probably be my last CWL bulletin that they send me for a while.
Really?
Yeah. But you can always keep up to date with Dynamite if you go to the IWAR Network Facebook page. It's always posted there. So just keep that in mind as well. And they have a CWL page as well. There is a CWL Facebook page, and you can always find it on the IWAR Network.
Nice.
That's all I have. So we'll go on to the IWL. League champion, Shotgun James Carnage. TV, Creed Michaels.
Ah.
Appalachian, Felix, 9 Lives. Buenaventura. Coastal States, American Justice. Deep South, Aiden the Great. Great Lakes, The Equalizer, Marlon Briggs. Great Plains, The Great David. Gulf Coast, Crimson Grim. Mississippi Valley, Vicious, Vincent Payne. Pacific States, Cowboy Jim Spur. Rocky Mountain, Scotty Flash. Sunbelt, Triple X, Extreme Xavier Jimenez. Tag team, you have Triple X. And the main event, Dylan Matthews. TV tag team, we have Shotgun James Carnage and Texas Jesse Tombstone. 6-man, you have Captain Bud, Drunken Wasted. Vitch Von Bruiser, Aiden the Great. TV 6-man, you have Primetime, Alex Styles, Xavier Jimenez, and Dylan Matthews. So Post to Post, the new feature they have going on in the IWO, I think it's fantastic. It's awesome.
I like it. Like the layout, like the way he does the content. Well done, Commissioner Ross.
Yes. In addition, you have the Beat the Clock challenge, and I'll read this aloud. You want a shot at the American Territories title and or the IWL Heavyweight Tag Team title at the Night of Honor pay-per-view? Here's your chance. American Territories send in a match with any wrestler versus Terry Hammer. The cycle. The 2 wrestlers that defeat him in the fastest time will wrestle the next cycle, with the winner getting a American Territories title match at the next pay-per-view. IWL Tag Team sending a match with any team versus Texas Lynch Mob, Hitman, and Texas Lynch Mob Slayer. This cycle, the 2 tag teams that will defeat them in the fastest time will wrestle the next cycle, with the winners getting a IWL Heavyweight Tag Team title match at the next pay-per-view. So that seems like a fantastic contest, guys.
Yes. There's another one, too.
Yes. The Fortune Are Fired, which we did have a in-depth preview of that on the last Tubecast.
Yes, be sure to get involved in that one.
Yes.
I will say that a IWL controversy as the IWL Heavyweight Championship match between the Bear, Sandy Francisco, who recently dethroned Dungeon Master Gregward Snodgrass, was a draw. So they will fight again because the champion, if you defend the belt twice, gets an automatic rematch. So Sandy has to cleanly beat Snodgrass to retain the belt, or they keep fighting. Do
they not go to a battle royal?
No, he just keeps having them fight.
Okay.
So that's one aspect. You know, we mentioned earlier about having short-term partnerships to set up feuds. I give you Cowboy Jim Spur. Cowboy Jim Spur was looking for a tag partner, kept calling out Scotty Flash as his partner. Finally, Flash said, hey, you know what, let's team up. And they were teaming up. They were in a tournament. They lost. And then Scotty Flash won the tag titles with Creed Michaels. Spur was not happy about it.
No.
And he turned on him at Wrestle Riot and left him laying and brought back his old tag partner, Dr. Pilot Driver MD, as his mentor and manager. So Jim Spur is back to his old crazy ways.
Awesome.
And they'll have a feud there. And, of course, we've got Creed Michaels, TV champion, because he's a bum. Shotgun James Carnage retained the title.
And guys, I don't know if you understand how hard that is to do.
Yeah, and IWL especially. It's tough. We saw Felix Ninelas Buenaventura recently demand anyone to come out and face him. And he was left a bloody mess at the hands of Steve the Hitman Chambers. So we'll see. After Steve dismantled longtime popular star Stunning Jack Vermillion, can Felix fare better? And I did want to mention one thing I kind of forgot to mention earlier. The CWL's Four Corners tournament has their 4 finalists. And they are Hannibal from the BRL, Clark Pierpont in the CWL, IWL's rep is Crimson Grim, and the NWL's representative is Natalie Bowen. So what they'll do is those 4 will have a 4-way match, and one person will win and earn a IWAR title shot.
Awesome.
Yeah. Other IWL news, the RX really kind of set up the lines as far as the try to take us down. So Revolution Extremes really going full bore.
They are really upping the ante, it seems like.
Yes, and will the IWL answer the challenge?
Looks like Scotty Flash got attacked, left laying. Sandy Francisco got attacked and got left laying as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sandy. Poor Sandy.
Yep.
Sandy the Bear.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, poor guy. It'd be great if he had a winning record, but he's lost, like, I think, let's see, actually, his record is a whopping 25-49. And a little behind the scenes for you kids. When you have multiple wrestlers in a league, you have two choices. You either go with what you feel is the best possible strat and put all your money, like all in on black, if you will.
Right.
And go, you know what? I'm going to go for this drop with all my guys. Or you can diversify and kind of cover a lot of different spots, 28, 29, 28, 28, 27, 27, 26, and roll the dice. What happens when you do that diversification is, while you might have one guy like Victor Von Schnapp who wins the league title, you're going to have a couple of guys who kind of tank. I have given Sandy the Bear Francisco like the worst strats. So that he's the IWL champion is kind of hysterical. So I was like, oh man, he pulled it off.
Unbelievable.
Whoops. So yeah, IWL, get involved in the Beat the Clock Challenge. Get involved in the
Fortune or fired. And don't forget, guys, in the IWL, make sure that you pick a side on the looming civil war that they're having currently in the IWL.
You cowards! All right, so that's IWL for you, folks.
So NWL,
yes,
league champion is Big Blank #1.
Who hit?
501.
501, baby. Oh yeah.
We're all kind of hoping he gets a IWA World Championship out of this. So
I would love to see him as the IWA champ.
Yeah, I agree. TV, we have B.A. Fox. Atlantic, we have Durgan. Central, we have Big Blank #2. Dixie, we have Marcus, the Monster Monroe. Eastern, we have Piper, the Goofball Monroe. Mountain, we have the General, Ulysses Monroe. Northern, we have Killer Clown. Pacific, we have the Creature Feature, John Campbell. Prairie, we have the Patriot. Southern, we have Loke Dog. Western, Rock Simpson. Tag Team, we have Blank 1 and 2. TV, we have B.A. Fox and Christian Knighton. 6 bands, we have all 3 of the Blanks. And 6 band, we have the Monroe family. So a couple things, in addition to a Big Blank #1 getting the 501. We have a new NWL National Champion.
We do?
We do. Lots of controversy.
Controversy.
Luther being angered at the fact that none of his challengers to the Great David were able to defeat him for the championship, felt the need to take it upon himself to challenge Great David for the national championship, which he did. And that match ended in I guess you would call it a screw job finish.
Yes, yes.
With the bell ringing while Luther had the Great David, Konix finishing hold the pole lock. After that, Luther, feeling very pleased with himself, challenged anyone in the locker room to a title match. The franchise Rex Rude came out and answered that challenge and proceeded to defeat Luther Alexander in 30 seconds with a belly-to-belly suplex. So, as it stands right now, the franchise Rex Rude is the NWL National Champion. So, congratulations. Just another note, I know I've told a couple people this, NWL main event will be going on hiatus until after my shoulder surgery because I won't be able to write or type. But guys, I do suggest you guys want to write in matches for the main event. I'm not going to be able to put them together, but you can still submit those through your normal trash talk if you would like. So a little postscript to that championship match. Luther Alexander did get very upset about losing the championship to Rex Rude and proceeded to super kick just about everyone in the building. So there's a couple of fans in the front row that super kicked. There was the referee, Uncle Ivan himself, Both Pierre Roulette and Samantha Soli, and a couple of cameramen all got super kicked and knocked out. He's very upset. So we'll see what the fallout from that's going to be. There may be some IWA sanctions levied on him. So that was fun. In addition, we had John Campbell, the creature feature, make a debut, defeating the Executioner in quick fashion. We also had a interview with the Neo Dragon. Yeah. So good stuff all around.
And we should know that this coming cycle, there'll be 2 Will-O-Wisp Classics added to the bunch. And this most recent Will-O-Wisp Classic, it was Mercury versus Maniac Matt Angel. And Mercury pulled the upset to take the win.
Yeah, he'll be facing Rock Simpson for the Rising Star Championship in this upcoming cycle.
Rock Simpson and Killer Clown kind of upset at that guy, Billy Jack Novak, for stealing their trophy that they smashed up.
Yes.
I don't know why.
In addition, the Blanks won the 2 out of 3 series against the Iron Russians, and they will face Reese Thomas and Shane Lee for the NWL National Tag Team Championship this cycle.
Oh, it brings up a good point. The Murano Memorial. So, speaking of blanks, the Murano Memorial Tag Team Tournament, as soon as I can pull this up, 4 finalists are Numbers 1 and 3 from the BRL, Black Wrestlers Matter, Black Predator, and Silverback Jack in the CWL, the Big Blanks in the NWL, and the IWL Controversy, as we had a tie. Now, normally in the Murano, we just do ties, and that's double elimination. But we have to have a finalist from each league, so we need to have a finalist team. So what will happen is Numbers will face Van Death Valen and Tony Lowen, as well as the Endgame Brothers. What we'll do is have the Endgame Brothers have a rematch against Lowen and Valen, and the winner of that match will have their match against Numbers count. So essentially, whatever team wins the rematch, they're both facing Numbers anyways.
Nice.
It'll just be a way of making sure the right team advances or doesn't advance. And meanwhile, the Big Blanks will take on the IWAR Tag Champions in a non-title match. So all kinds of controversy. And we will remember, people, don't forget, the Johnny B Cup, you have one last chance to get those sign-ups in, because not this cycle, but the cycle after, they start the matches. So it's $3 per wrestler, so don't be shy, get involved. We have a lot of people joining already. And the ladder match is underway.
Nice.
We do 2 cycles. Your combined strategy over 2 cycles is your overall score, and the highest overall score wins the first prize. The wrestler who is second wins the second prize and splits the pot, if you will. So right now, the ladder match battle royal, the top 5 are 501 from Big Blank, 500 from the Big Bad Red Fox, 500 from Mirrors, and then 498s from James Carnage, Victor Von Schnapp, Randy the Ram, Biff Beverly. So anybody's game.
And coming out of the IWO, excuse me, the NWO will receive their IWAR Championship match this cycle. So Rex Rude, you get your shot at the champ.
That's right.
Yep. Anything else about the NWL?
No, that's it, really.
All right, fantastic. So, guys, I'm going to end it right here, and I will see you next time